And
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
was something about that album, like just grabbed me and was like, this is what I should be doing. This is what I want to
Mm.
do. That
Yeah.
album had everything from like almost metal songs to bluesy songs, slower songs. It was kind of a combination of stuff that kind of could be, you could kind of predict would be what the 90's was, where a band could make more than just one kind of style or one genre of song and put it all on one album.
That's a good way
So
of saying what happened in the 90's. It's almost like we threw, and Chris and I talk about this a lot, it's almost like we threw every style that was available into a pot and stirred it up, and whatever came out is what came out. That's why that music's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it encompassed everything. And I feel nowadays so grateful to have been a teenager in the 90's.
I say
and
that so much. We were in our 20s, but I say that so much. To have been there and to have been a part of it. Him and I were a part of it.
Exactly.
Well, think about what we all grew up with. We all grew up with the 80's and the 90's, right?
Right.
Those are typically our teen years, and then you hit the 2000s. But the 80's and 90's by far, I think, were, from a music revolution standpoint, two of the best decades ever.
No
I mean, just it reshaped and changed. I mean, aside from what Sabbath did in the 70's, right? What Metallica did,
right?
And they were what, late 70's, early 80's Metallica?
Early.
No, their first album was 83.
83.
Okay, yeah. So they were probably, no one heard of them back in the 70's. But yeah, but think about that. Aside from those two bands, Black Sabbath and Metallica, nothing really changed the music industry until Seattle came out, until Nirvana dropped. And
You're
then all of a sudden,
correct.
And then all of a sudden it's, we're going grunge now, right? And but that afforded us, meaning Mike and I, when we were playing in Nemesis, the ability to open for huge headlining bands in the 80's that were now opening or headlining a show in Phoenix at the Mason Jar.
Yeah, like LA Guns came through there.
Enough's Enough.
I saw them in an arena. We opened up for them. Then we opened up for Enough's Enough. I saw them in an arena. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy crap. Now you're playing for the same 200 people we are, Right.
But that was what it did, though, right? Because then all the 80's hair bands and shit, it's like all of a sudden they're playing clubs again. It was the weirdest dynamic in the music
But we
world,
also
man.
got some amazing opportunities, like he says, that a lot of bands would have never had.
True.
We opened up for the Marshall Tucker band, man. Mm-hmm. We were a heavy rock band. We weren't heavy metal. He wasn't a screaming vocalist. Mm-hmm. His vocals were melodic.
Song that the song we start the show with is our song Freeman that we wrote probably 30 years ago.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I mean that kind of just tells you that I always tell people we were Creed before Creed, because when you try to define a sound, it's hard.
And we were there
because
before
we were pre iTunes and pre all the Spotify's and
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So when people ask me, and I'm kind of jumping, I'm fast forwarding a little bit in my story. When they ask me what House Divided sound like, so like, what is your band? What kind of band are you? I was like, well, if Nirvana and Soundgarden were driving in a blue Chevelle and Metallica and Pantera were in the A-Team van,
right,
going the opposite direction, and they actually had a head-on collision.
Okay.
And the doctors that tried to heal them and fix them and put them back together were Jane's Addiction and Led Zeppelin. The resulting mangled, beautiful atrocity would be House Divided.
I love that.
And
yeah,
I don't even know
thought in that.
I don't even know if there's a simpler way to put it or a more accurate way to put it, except to add maybe one or two more bands even to that description.